right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my quick rundown for the books that are coming out on this new comic book day, Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. So this is some of the books that I'm looking forward to, some covers, some incentives, and some books that are selling at a premium already, and anything that I just kind of caught my eye that's coming out this week with the new releases. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And I know I'm running late this week, but, life gets in the way. And I wanted to make sure I got this rundown out for you at least ahead of Wednesday. So I'm dropping this on Tuesday. And with that all said, it might be a quick rundown this week because I got to admit, it's a little bit of a week. It's a little bit of a week. Not to, be alliterative there, but it is. You'll see in a second. But with that all said, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back.
Homonym.
Okay, so starting us off on this week, we do have some buzz books. Now, some of these books, maybe the buzz was too early. That's what I'm going to say. I think the buzz was too early. Announcements got announced way too early. So there was early hype. And now that it's here, I'm not sure there's as much interest as they may have once thought. And the book that I'm going to start off with that is Spider-Boy. I mean, immediately when Spider-Boy hit the scene, we were given announcement that this book was coming months ahead of time, showing us variants, etc. And now that it's here, well, orders have been plentiful, so there'll be plenty to go around. So if you want it, it'll be there for you to have it. I still don't know the longevity of this character personally. There's still a lot to be known about this kid, but I don't know. I'll admit I'm not all that interested. I'm gonna give it a read, give it a try, give it a look-see, but yeah, plenty of options going around. Here's the cover A for you. Obviously, I am getting the negative space because I have to get the negative space John Tyler Christopher covers. It's just one of those things I collect. So this is another one I'm going to have to go in and grab there as well. Interesting little shot there with Spider-Man and Spider-Boy up and underneath. My buddy at work was telling me he thinks this is an homage to a Todd McFarlane piece where it's Spawn and Spidey kind of mirroring each other, which I can kind of see. I think it was on the cover of like a Hero magazine, not Wizard, the other magazine. Maybe it was an Overstreet. I think it was an Overstreet cover that he was saying it kind of reminded him of, but I don't know. And then pretty cool Scotty Young. I mean, it's upside down, which is kind of cool, but I think it would have been better if it was actually the right side up. You know what I mean? Like put the cityscape on the bottom with an upside down Spider-Boy, and I think I would have liked it a little bit better. I don't know. That's just me, but I mean, I get it either way. There's already a second print announced. Why we need a second print of this already, I have no idea. The book hasn't even hit the shelves yet. How do you know you don't have enough to go around? But we're getting it anyway, and it's going to be a slight variation on that negative space, which is actually kind of cool. I kind of like it a little bit better because they add that webbing. So that little bit of webbing hint there in the background, I actually like that a little bit better, but I don't know if I need to buy a second print of this. We'll see. I mean, if I read it and it's good, maybe then I'll grab it. But other than that, I don't know if this is going to be necessary. But this is coming out in December. So this is an early notice, but we already know it's coming. December 13th, where that second print will be here. And who knows, between now and then, they'll maybe add an incentive that we're going to have to go and buy. That's it. We'll get to those in a minute. But on top of that, there are also a foil cover by Carrie Andrews, a 1 in 50 that everybody's been looking forward to by David Aja, and then there's a 1 in 100, which is a version of that cover A. So with that all said, none of these are really trading for much of a premium, to be honest. I went and looked at the 1 in 50 because, again, a lot of early talk on this one. There's a lot of early buzz, people looking forward to it, saying, I gotta have it, and I like it. But look, some of those early adopters back in a month ago are spending $90, $100, $135 because FOMO got inset early on, and they were like, I gotta have this 1 in 50. This is gonna be a hot book. I gotta buy it. They're paying those high prices on those early pre-sales. And then now that we're a day, it's basically tomorrow, because I'm filming this on Halloween. So Halloween evening, we're basically a day away, and there's copies out there for under ratio. multiple copies for under like $40. Like most of these are right around 50, but there's plenty of copies right around that $40 mark, even with free shipping. So gotta imagine some of those people who spent $135 on this early on might be kicking themselves or trying to cancel their orders, which also isn't that cool. It's not cool to do that to a seller. Just saying. Don't get FOMO and just don't buy it that early, and then the price can come down on its own naturally. Don't be that guy. But that said, Spider Boy is one book. The next book didn't have as much of an early alert as this, but we still heard about this, I feel like forever ago, and that's The White Widow. And this is another new series that we're getting. And I know we know Yelena Belova is carrying on the mantle in the MCU, despite the fact that a lot of talk over MCU fatigue or the Marvel movies dying, et cetera, et cetera. I hear that, but people will still go. They will. I'm still going to go. I still want to see all this stuff. I know some movies may not be the top choice for everyone. Like the Marvels look like it may take a hit, but I don't think that's because the MCU was dying. I think it just might be, there's just not enough fans that really wanted that movie. That's all. I mean, I want to see it. I'm looking forward to it, but I get it. It's not for everybody. That said, The White Widow has a cover A. Pretty cool. There's also going to be a Moon Knight. We're getting a bunch of Moon Knight covers here this month, so keep that eye out there because it's Knight's End. The end of Mark Spector is Moon Knight, so we're getting a bunch of variant covers here as well. I already did a short on these a little while back, so go check that out if you want to see all of the covers, together. Got a pretty cool, is that Lyrics Lee? I can't remember who is that, Lyrics Lee or Derek Chu? I think it might be Derek Chu. I can't remember everybody, but Art Germ there on the right. So multiple covers, including incentives, which give you virgin versions of these things, as well as an Adam Hughes there in the middle, which is a hidden gem variant. And it is not Yelena Belova. They decided to just give us, I guess, Natasha for one reason or another on this book because they had the art. So that's the 1 in 25 Hughes. And then we get virgins, like I said, of those other two for the 1 in 50 and the 1 in 100. None of these are really doing much more than ratio. They're ratio or less. So once again, I don't have to show you prices. If you want them, that's about what they'll run you. Maybe you can get a better deal. You might find people asking a bit more, but by and large, there are copies available if you want them for ratio. I think our next bit of buzz book would be, well, the restart of the Ultimate Universe. I mean, we're getting the Ultimate Universe back. We keep getting new notices about what Spidey's story is going to be, what the X-Men is going to be, done by Peach Momoko, et cetera, et cetera. But the actual universe, having restarted, following that latest mini, is right here. So Ultimate Universe #1. Multiple covers here. Seems to be focusing in on the Ultimate Thor. So we got a couple of Thor covers here. And as you might guess, virgin versions for those higher ratio incentives as well as 1 in 25. I mean, cool covers, sure, but once again, not trading at a premium. It's ratio or less for all of these books, and in some cases, much, much less. Plenty of copies to go around. Give it a read. That's what I'm going to do. All three of these books could have been in my reading pile because I am going to read them this week, but I felt like they had early buzz to go into it. And then the last book I want to put in the buzz section is another, I guess, a secret book released. Another retailer thank you, a retailer appreciation book. This time out of Udon, Street Fighter. So Street Fighter Omega, there's a one-shot. I think it's a one-shot. I don't think it's a series. I think it might just be a one-shot releasing today or tomorrow, I guess, November 1st. Only a couple of covers, and then there's a 1 in 5 as well that seems to be trading, pretty well. But we're just here for the thank you or appreciation book, which at the time that my buddy who owns a shop told me about this late last night, there were no early pre-sales. So there might be by the time I'm doing this video on late Thursday afternoon, but I couldn't find any early pre-sales yet. Again, it was a surprise book, so not a lot movement yet, but asking prices, bunch hit the scene, asking as cheap as $15, around 30, and up to as high as $50 for this. I don't know where the price is really going to land. I would probably guess more in that kind of $15 to $20 range. It is what it is, but who knows? The market does some crazy things. I mean, you saw what the Dracula book did last week. It's the same deal. It's basically going to be one per store, roundabout, I guess. So that's how many would be out there. I don't know. But something to keep an eye out for in case you hit your shop, because like with the Dracula, I found that book on the shelf for cover price. So you never know. check different shops, go wander around. You never know what you'll find out there. So maybe you'll find this retailer, thank you, just in the mix with the regular books as well, if you're interested. So keep that in mind. Mention my reading list. That's what we're going to get into next. There's a bunch of titles this week that I do want to read. But as I was saying about it being a week, is that not a lot of this stuff is moving on the market as far as at a premium, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So people who actually like comics, there's plenty of stuff for you to go and collect and read. But if you're just going to buy the comics just to try to flip them, you might have a hard time this week because there is not a lot of flippable material out there on the shelves for you Wednesday warriors. I'm sorry to say, I don't see much for you. But with that said, if you do want to read the books you're buying, plenty to do. Canary. So you got Snyder and Panosian. Looking forward to this. Pretty cool. Looks like Western style. Into it. A lot of covers here as well. This is the cover A, which they have a foil version of this as well. I don't know if it's going to be a full foil version or if it's just going to be the trade dress, which looks like it's a silver. Maybe it's a spot foil, which I would prefer personally, but hey, who knows? As I mentioned, other covers here as well. Pretty awesome one there in the middle with the with the finger instead of the cigar. And then you got a B, C, D covers. That's what these are. And then there's also a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, as well as like an FOC version that was released late. So keep an eye out for that one as well. I like the perspective there on the Canary one as well. So it's just something I want to read. I like Dan Panosian's work. I'm a big fan of slots, and I want to see where this story is going to go. Plus, it's with Snyder. So, yeah, could give it a shot. Along with this next book out of Ablaze, Almost Dead. Looks like a zombie story. Kind of piqued my interest. So I'm going to give this one a shot too. Only one cover, apart from the incentives, which are this cover. So we have the A here. There's a 1 in 5 that's a virgin, a black and white that's a 1 in 10, and well, I should say a grayscale, and then a full-on black and white that's the 1 in 20. So it's all the same cover, but different versions for you. I just want to get the one. I'm going to read it. So we'll see how that one goes. Up next, new book coming out. I believe this first started, there was an earlier series of this Blowtorch, so I think this is a new run of this Blowtorch here at a different publisher at Comicsburg. But Blowtorch, Bad Roads #1 is starting. The creators, I've been in contact with the creator. Got an early look at this, so it's on my reading list. I'm still going to pick up the actual copy, and we are going to probably review this on the Tack Show tomorrow. So come and check that out as well. But looking forward to this book, and I'll pretend that I haven't read it yet. That said, because I want to save it for the review. I'm going to save it all for the review. That said, let's get into even more #1s. These are all new #1s. I've run down a ton of new #1s. Even on top of that, there are still more. These ones I am personally not as enamored by. So these are not going to end up in my pull list for the most part, or at the very least, if I do get them, not going to be near the top. But I still want to let everybody know what the other new #1s are in case you guys want them. Just because I don't really care doesn't mean you might not care. You don't have to like the same things as me. But if you're really looking forward to Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, well, the special is coming. So here you go. You can have it. I just don't really like these, like a movie prequel adaptation, whatever you want to call them. Just not for me. Just seems like a waste of my resources to spend the funds there when I can get a cool cover that I prefer. That said, this is the cover A. There's a cover B. There is a photo cover as well, which, again, for you Signature Series hunters, that would probably be a good Jason Momoa opportunity for you to go and grab that one. It's got an $8 cover here as well, so this ain't cheap. And there is also a 1 in 25. So if you're interested, there is another #1. Just like DC giving us another one-shot related to the Gotham War, but giving a new subtitle. It's Gotham War Scorched Earth. The Shocking Conclusion. So here we go. Batman, Catwoman, cover A. I know we talked about this one on SNS, the Adam Hughes there in the middle. I mean, yeah, it does look kind of funny, but yeah, it is what it is. Then we got the foil and the non-foil version there. Pretty nice on that one, but I'm just not a foil fan, so I'm probably not going to pick that up. But I might get the regular version there. Then we got incentives. If you're into the incentives, there is a 1 in 25, a 1 in 50, as well as a 1 in 100. Once again, none of these trading at ratio even. They're mostly below ratio. So again, no flippability here, really. So unless you get it really, really cheap from your shop, good luck this week if you want to go again. Wednesday warrioring. Yeah, Gonna get all tongue-tied today. With that, we're not done with DC, as we are also getting even more. We're getting the Return of Superman 30th anniversary special because, well, everything's having an anniversary pretty soon. We're gonna, I mean, I'm assuming, did we get the Batman Broken Back? Did we get the Bane 30th anniversary? Did we get all this stuff? I don't even know. But we're getting all these anniversary titles and books for every milestone that could be imagined, including, well, here's another one shot for, the Return of Superman. Pretty cool wraparound cover here, but this is a pricey book. I mean, this is like $10, I think. So I don't know. It's nice, but that's a stretch for me. If you're into it, there are die cut covers featuring all 4 of the new Supermen, just like back in the day. So, there's that. Still $10 a piece. You want to get all these? It's $40 right there. You want to get all these? Oof, I don't know. It's a little bit steep for me. And if you like that other cover, they got a foil version as well as a 1 in 25 and a weird looking 1 in 50. I just got to admit, I don't really like the 1 in 50. And it is, I believe, an interior art panel, I think. Or at least it's a familiar scene when he comes out and he's from the Kryptonian coffin or whatever the hell that was in his black suit. But it looks like, I don't know. It looks like Boba Fett, like coming out of his back to tank dreams. Just not for me. That said, one of the few books I think that actually is selling for, well, not all that much. Recent copy sold $30 and $54 on that 1 in 50. But as I mentioned, a lot of fishing out there. So you can see ratio copies for $50 and $54. And then you got a couple other people looking for $110 and $165. Just because other high ratio incentives have sold for high prices the last few months doesn't mean all of them do. That's all. So don't just assume every new 1 in 50 is going to be the next hot book because, as you can see, it's not always the case. Asking prices aside, what's actually selling is nowhere near close to that. So I would avoid spending too much money on this. If it were me, I'm not going to get it at all, but that's just me. Next one is another DC special this time. It is also the 5th week technically for DC because they ended on today, Halloween. So this is actually the 5th week for October as opposed to the 1st week for some of the other publishers. So DC is doing more of the annuals and specials as opposed to getting those regular titles. So keep that in mind as well. But there is a Supergirl special coming out again. $6 on this one. There's the cover A. That's okay. I like the other variants here, obviously, on this one. I like the Cho, and I think is that another Will Jack? Not positive, but I like both of those. They're not too bad. There's a foil version as well as so your foil version right there, and a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50. But surprisingly, this was the one I would have thought might have had some premiums going. I thought, hey, maybe the 1 in 25 selling for like 30, 35. But even that is a bit of a stretch. They're still right around ratio. So once again, nothing to report on the aftermarket for as far as pre-sales go. We'll see if any of these books pick up steam once they start hitting people's hands. I mean, that's also a possibility. It does happen. But for now, not a lot of early returns on these books so far. But we'll see. Another number one, but shifting away from DC, we've got Blood Commandment coming out of Image. This cover, it looks familiar. I was trying to rack my brain. I was like, it made me think of Cape Fear a little bit. It made me think of like Cujo a little bit. I didn't know if it was like Near Dark or what. Fright Night even. Looks very familiar, but I don't think it aligns 1 for 1 for anything as an homage because there are homage covers, but I feel like it might be. I'm just not sure for 100%. If you think you know what it is, share it in the comments down below, but it just looks familiar, but I think it is just an original piece for this book. There is a Lost Boys homage. There is a Last of Us video game box homage, which is kind of cool. And then there's also another variant as well for this Blood Commandment. Could be interesting. I thought about putting this in the reading pile, but I'm not 100% sold on this one yet, but we'll see. I believe I'm getting the variants because I'm a weird variant collector like that. I like good or different homages, and they always get me the Lost Boys. And many times they've been redoing this Lost Boys ones now, this last couple of years. I ended up getting suckered into buying them. So, well, I don't know. I think they got me again. That said, Marvel's number one for this week that I wanted to bring up was it's Jeff the Land Shark, everybody's favorite little shark with feet. Pretty cool. Cover A. There's a cover B and a cover C as well on this one. Oops, sorry for that quick jump. But Yeah, so you got like a Thor version with him sleeping, daydreaming, whatever you want to call it. And you got a Chrissy Zulo as well with Black Cat, which I kind of like. But no incentives. These are all A, B, and C covers. So you pick the one that you like if you want to go and check this out. We got some fast segments this week because we don't have a lot to deal with. So the homage section actually only has one book that I skipped earlier on to put it here, and that is Spider-Boy. Yes, there is a Spider-Boy homage to Amazing Spider-Man #1, as you can see. There were some others I think I could have put in here, even the Blood Commandments, but they were elsewhere, so I didn't feel like the need to have to build out this segment to be any more than that. So, that's what I got for you. Interlocking covers are next. Not a lot here either, to be fair. The book that jumped out at me most was the Street Fighter Omega that I mentioned, that one per store or that thank you retailer appreciation book. But apart from that, there is an A and a B cover where you got the villains on one side, basically, and then you got the heroes facing off on the other. Buy both copies if you want to connect them and make that set. Other than that, that's really it. Okay, nothing else really jumped. There were some wraparounds, but I don't want to keep stretching connecting covers with wraparounds. They're not exactly the same thing. So I left the wraparounds off. That said, we do have later prints this week. While those two segments might have been short, later prints might be a bit longer because we do have a few things to go over. Starting off with Concrete Jungle. Yep, Sumerian, issue 1. All right, I don't know. I haven't read this yet, so I don't know if it's any good, but there's a second print, so it must have sold well enough for a second print to be warranted here. So go and check that out, along with, well, Conan. I still got to catch up my reading on this. I think I have the first print of this. I ordered a bunch of back issues on these Conan books because Joe's Dueling was telling me I needed to read this, so I figured I'll give it a shot. So I ordered the old Conan books. Check it out because he says it's pretty good. So Conan the Barbarian, Volume 5, number 3 is getting a second print as well, and this is Virgin cover, so that's why I had to put the title down below, so I knew what I was talking about. Otherwise, I wouldn't remember off the dome here what this book was. Rare Flavors is getting a third print here. This is just making me want to have to go and check this out. I know it looks like it's probably going to be a weird book. It's probably not going to be for me, but I keep getting more and more curious, especially the more and more printings that go. I guess this is popular. If it's good, let me know if I should read this down below. I just haven't given it a shot yet because, well, time is kind of at a premium, and I don't know. Just don't know if it's for me or not. So if it's good, tell me down below, and maybe I'll go check it out. All right. We mentioned this before. I think I mentioned it somewhere before, but why on earth we're getting all of these, I do not know, but we are. Transformers, #1. If you didn't think there were enough covers to begin with, well, hold on to your hats because we've got 5. Yes, count them, 5 different covers on the second print. Not incentives, just 5 different options from these 2 to these 2. These are all through Image. So these aren't like, hey, store exclusive, this, that. No. It's just Image is giving us all of these. As well as this one, which might be the one that most people look for because it's got Bumblebee and his blasted out face right there on the cover. This could be the one people gravitate towards out of the 5, but really, there are plenty of copies of that #1 to go around. Plenty of different covers already. And now we have 5 covers on the second print. I don't know. I'm getting worried now. I mean, I'm still looking forward to reading these stories. I'm into the stories. I'm into the universe being built out. But things like this start getting me worried that they're just printing covers to... I mean, Jesus. Think of how many covers you might have already spent on Transformers 1. Now, if you want to be a cover collector, get all of them. They're making you buy 5 copies of the second print. That's another $25 they want out of your wallet for a book you already own, because you might be an obsessive compulsive cover collector and want to have them all. That's what I have a little bit of a problem with. We don't need all these covers. They could have stretched these out over time. But whatever. I mean, it's your wallets. You do what you want. It's my wallet too. I'm pretty sure they got me. They got me buying all these damn things because, well, I am one of those OCD. I want to have as many covers as I possibly can collectors. So it's frustrating though. That said, God's also getting a second print out of Marvel, and thankfully, it's on its own. Granted, it does have a $10 cover price, so needing an incentive to get people to buy even more of these probably wasn't necessary, or maybe it was. I don't know, but there is no incentive on this one, just a second print for God's #1. But That's not the case for all of Marvel's second prints. Because here we go. Captain America, #1 second print. Yes, it looks pretty much like the first print, so nothing new there. But there is a 1 in 25 virgin version of this Humberto Ramos variant that was on #1. So they just kind of rework and reuse art, make it a virgin, make it an incentive on the second print, and go fishing for your money. These are probably the only things moving at a premium this week. Showing is one sale, only one so far, end of September for $75. That seems to be par for the course with how these second print incentives have been pre-selling for. As we've noticed over the last few weeks, a lot of these start hitting DOA though, like they're on the week they actually come out. People aren't buying as many as it might seem, and not for the prices that those early adopters might have been willing to shell out. So be mindful of that. But that won't stop the fishers. Look, $100, $260. Those are the asking prices on this. $260. 10 times ratio. Come on, guys. Don't do it. I implore you. Keep your wallet in your pocket. There's no need for you to go and spend that money, especially you. AOA, I know you love Cap. Don't do it. Don't do it. Truthfully, though, I mean, you do what you want, your money, but God, these prices. God bless them. Good luck to them. Good luck to them. Another second print here on Predator versus Wolverine. Kind of cool. Second print, sure. Incentive on this one as well. 1 in 25. Virgin version of this other variant that they already sold us. So again, reusing art and putting it in as a virgin. In this case, I don't like it. There's all that dead space at the top of the cover. Without the trade dress, there's nothing to fill that blue sky mush that's up there. So, I don't know. I don't like it. Too much dead space. If you want to get a remark, that's a perfect place to get a remark. But other than that, I don't see much benefit in all that dead area on the cover. But with that said, pre-sales on this one, $40, $70. Okay. Not crazy. Not crazy for a 1 in 25. $40. That was just October 29th as well. That's only 2 days ago. And what is that? Another one, $70, and that's with the regular cover. But then there are the other prices. The asks though, $115, $130, $175. So we'll see if some of these high asks start moving, and then we'll see what happens. But I don't know. These second print incentives, they don't have the steam that they once did. I think the prices have jumped out so high so early. I think it's turning a lot of people off. It turned me off right from jump. Right from Jump Street. I didn't like it. But I think more and more people are now going, wait a second. Like, just hold your horses here. That said, do what you want to do. Covers. We got covers to get into. This week, covers that I like. We have Usagi Yojimbo, Ice and Snow, Part 2 of 5. I like this callback to, what is it? I can't think of a reboot. I can't, you know what I'm saying? The first appearance with the Usagi on the cover. I can't think of what it's called. I can't pronounce it either. But you know what I'm talking about. Pretty cool looking cover here, though. Also, pretty cool B cover, as well as a 1 in 25 incentive as well. So I like both of these. I like all three of them, honestly. I don't normally read this, but I feel like I might need to start. Like, I don't know. Some of these covers have really been grabbing me lately, and I'm like, you know what? I'm into samurais. So he's a bunny. I can get past the anthropomorphic part, or I can just lean into it and say, you know what? All right, fine, I'll accept it. I don't know, just one of those things I just never really got into, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try. That said, Detective Comics as well. I also could have put this on the read list. It's just I'm so far behind on reading my Detective Comics. I didn't feel right putting it on the reading list, but I do like these covers that we've been getting lately. You saw the one last week too, on the anniversary 1075. So here's 1076. Why they're coming out so fast and furious, I don't know. But a couple of covers here. We got this one, like I said, I dig that. Like the other options they're giving us as well, and the B's and the C's. The incentive wise, we do have a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50. The 1 in 25 is kind of a cool wanted poster with Azrael, kind of fun. And then the 1 in 50 it's just a nice little black and white version of that cover A. I know I normally crap on the black and white sketch versions, but sometimes they look kind of cool. And the detail here and the line work, it's sometimes I'm not that mad at the black and whites. It's a black and white Jim Lee, black and white Hughes, maybe Frank Cho. Certain artists, I like the black and white. You see the detail of their line work, and you can appreciate it in that way. But that said, not selling at huge premiums or anything either, so nothing to report there. If you want them, go ahead, look for them, but don't think you're going to get rich here. At least not yet. Avengers. I think this is Avengers issue 7 or 8. I've lost track at this point. I haven't been keeping up with my Avengers, but still some cool covers here with the Vision front and center, and then other options, including a Knight's End with Moon Knight on there, as well as, Vision and the new crew of Avengers all there, going at it. I put this in here too because I do like this wraparound cover for the Avengers 60th anniversary. I like that kind of throwback feel vibe that we're getting here. So that one's in here, as well as the 1 in 25. And on this is not bad. Very, very cheap, though. This is like 10 to 15 bucks. So again, not selling for a premium, but pretty cool Vision cover if you're into that. So yeah, there it is. That's all this section is really mostly for, is the covers. Like Scarlet Witch here. Cover A's have been really good. But then you start getting into some of the other variants they're giving you, and it's just like the Poison Ivies. They're just really trying to milk your wallet because they're just giving you a lot of solid cover art that you just go, oh man, I kind of like that. Kind of like that negative space right there in the middle. I like that Massafara over there on the left. And then the 1 in 25 ain't half bad either. But can't buy everything. But I can look and point them out and say that they do look cool. But there it is. Moving on, even Venom has some cool covers here this time out. We got here on the cover A, a lot of blacks, a lot of reds. Is that Bianchi, I think, on the B, I think. And then we got a Knight's End again. So, like I told you, a bunch of these Knight's End covers for Moon Knight. And then a bunch of incentives here where you get the trade dress version as the 1 in 25, and then the Virgin version as the 1 in 50, and then the Virgin 1 in 100. Where this is the, what's her name? Natasha Romanoff. So this is like the Black Widow venomized character thrown on the cover here. So I'm sure a lot of people will just like it for that reason, but none of these incentives are selling at a huge premium. They're all under ratio for the most part. When I last checked, nothing's moving. So they'll be there. If you want them, they're there. Almost through this. Up next, we do have X-Men 28, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, X-Men 28. Pretty cool Juggernaut cover to start on the A. I like this wraparound here. Again, I thought about putting the wraparounds in the connectings, but they're not. They're wraparounds. But pretty cool little throwback there. I've seen, a similar poster with this before. I forget who. I think it was a Jim Lee poster from back in the day. So they redone it here for a wraparound cover. I kind of like it. We also get another Knight's End Moon Knight, and you got a pretty badass looking Cyclops. I know Marco doesn't like Cyclops, but that's a pretty cool cover. I'm just saying. And then you got the Juggernaut trading card. Also kind of fun if you're into that. I never got into collecting the trading card ones because I do have all those cards from back in the day. It was a whole nother thing. I knew they were going to overdo to death that I just couldn't get into. But with that said, that badass Cyclops in the middle is also a Virgin version for the 1 in 50. But it's not selling for a premium. So I thought it might have. I like it. I wish it was like a 1 in 25. I'd pay like 25 bucks, maybe 20 bucks for this, but I don't know. I start balking when it's 40 to 50. That's a lot for a new book, personally. Random other variants. I thought about doing an incentive section like we do sometimes, but there was not enough. There really is not a lot in that way this week. So they just kind of bled into this area. So David Mack, 1 in 25 here on Doctor Strange. I think this is number 9. So pretty cool Clea cover. And then another David Mack on this Space Between number 1. I thought was also pretty cool. So I like both of those. But again, not really moving for much. So they just get noted, but not much else to report there. I just like them, even though I probably can't afford to buy them because that's too many incentives. And for our last section, we're going to wrap up with cheesecake covers. So plenty of cheesecake this week as well. I even had to trim this section down as I was rolling through it because some of the Grimm Fairy Tales, I was like, yeah, all of them are. You get it. So we don't have to go over every cover. You buy any Grimm Fairy Tale book in the Zenescope, that's basically what you're going to get. But I probably could say the same with a lot of these Dynamite books. Vampirella, Dead Flowers, number 2, obviously pretty cool. Perillo, then we got a couple other options here for you as well along with that. Multiple options of these options since it's Dynamite. So you got Virgin versions, black and white versions, and this, that, and the other. Yeah. Pick your poison. They're all there. Red Sonja has a couple of good ones too. So Savage Red Sonja has Pretty awesome Panosian there on the front cover A. Another awesome Adam Hughes here. But again, this is regular cover price. Then we got a Frank Cho. It's not bad. And then we have a cosplay. I put the cosplay in there just because I needed to balance this out. Because amongst all of these covers, there's many, many versions. So the Adam Hughes in the middle, for instance, there's a virgin version of it in color. There is a black and white version. There is a grayscale version. I believe there's a virgin version of both of those. There's so many versions. So buy what you like. I'm fine with the regular color trade dress on this one. And it's kind of in that same vein of the books that we've been talking about on those 1 in 25s, where it's that kind of, I don't want to say portrait, but chest up shots from Adam Hughes. That said, pretty cool covers there. And then this one kind of caught my eye. This Under a Blood Red Moon. I was like, what is this? I like the negative space werewolf in the back with the cityscape. And then I was like, oh, it's not just this cover. They also have a naughty version. So if you're into that, I think it's like $6. Either way, there is, I covered up for, not suitable for work image, but it is, there is a nude cover if you're into that thing. So it's there. It's out there. So have at it if you want it. I thought it looked kind of cool. The regular one looked pretty cool as well. So I put it in here. Cheesecake. That's what this segment's about. So we're going to move on to, yes, another cheesecake special, Heat Seeker. These Gun Honey books do not disappoint if this is what you're into for covers. I like them, so I buy the ones that I like. Cover A, not too bad. There is this version here as well there. Oh, and then we do have, I forget who the artist is there on, there's a black bagged nude version as well here for Gun Honey. So if you want that, there you go. Once again, covered up for posterity reasons. And that one in the middle also has another version for one reason or another. I don't know what they're calling it, but they just made like a virgin black background one for another option for you. So if you're into it, look pretty cool. Have at it. Almost done here. I think the last one we have is going to be that AWA series Red Light. So Red Light number 1. This is the Cho cover. This is actually the B cover. I wanted to start here because the last one, I'm sure you guys all saw the Jeff DeCall. That is the cover A. I do like the Cho here as well. And the Cho is the incentive, is a black and white version of it. But here's the Jeff DeCall. I dig it. So enjoy it. Get it if you like it. Leave it on the shelf if you don't. I mean, you don't have to buy any of this stuff. Sometimes you can just look. You don't have to buy everything. At least that's my motto. And with that all said, that is my rundown for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you found that helpful, beneficial. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Once again, sorry, there's not a lot pre-selling. There's not a lot to report. So that means I'm going to have a tough time looking ahead to this week's CBSI Hot 10 list. Like, as far as new books go, I don't know if we're going to have any new ones making it. So all the people who hate seeing variants and whatnot on the Hot 10 list, well, you may be in luck because, as you can see, all those variants coming out this week, not many of them are doing much. So with that all said, we'll see how the week goes on. That's the early look before they hit shelves tomorrow. Sorry this was late again, but like I said, I got a lot of things going on here at home to deal with, so I'm just running behind. But don't worry, we'll be back on track pretty soon. And make sure you come back for the live tax show tomorrow. We got another fun segment with looking at some pass keys, and we're going to play our little budget game with that. So it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun with that new segment that we're doing, and we'll have the news and all the comic reviews and everything else, including that Blowtorch Bad Roads review for you tomorrow. So once again, plenty more coming your way. Hopefully you're enjoying the channel. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys all later with some more content. All right.